The film series that won't die. Nearly 30 movies, one house, actually several houses, and cursed artifacts.
The Amityville Horror Podcast.
Hey, hello, and welcome back to the Amityville Horror Podcast. I am Tom.
And I am Patrick.
This week we're watching the Amityville Playhouse. That is to say, there is a playhouse in Amityville, and according to the little blurb, somebody in this movie has a disturbing secret to the Amityville house.
Wait, keeping secrets in a theater company?
I know, it's weird.
Oh.
You know, it's definitely not like the cattiness that I had come to expect.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's
Amdram.
Yeah. And that's even, in some pockets before you get to all the, tech crew versus
actors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember high school.
Yeah. That divide never made sense to me. I was like, we're all in theater. We're all doing a thing together
Just in high school, you just kept everybody gravitates to some sort of group.
Yeah.
I agree. Like at the time, I was very much into, I'm techie, I'm not an actor. In retrospect, why? What is this?
Yeah.
So many things in high school were just like, that was a stupid thing you were doing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're not doing it anymore.
I think it was senior year because of schedule on. I was in plays at other schools. So at my school, all I had time for to hang out with my friends was tech crew. Mm-hmm. So I wound up doing both and realizing, we just all need to come together. We all like Huff and Glade Potpourri. We all like Taco Bell. We all like, high school
You're
stuff.
the theater nerds, regardless of what role you play.
Yeah. We all have a bootleg of Rocky Horror, and we can all go to Denny's after.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
So hopefully these people at least have that before they die horrible, horrible deaths. Yeah. Which hopefully they do. The last few have not really been great body count-wise, because they can't really do a lot.
Which is a shame, because they're also some of the least sympathetic characters.
Yes. And very poorly acted. Because... Yeah.
Okay, well, this one is set in a theater, so we get to see good acting, or at least layers of bad.
Yeah, it's like good actors trying to act bad, or bad actors trying to act good. It's going to be in a weird, nebulous region.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And having just rewatched Barry, having good actors playing bad actors, occasionally being good, but within shades... it's never going to get more masterful than that show, I think.
Probably not. Yeah. I still need to watch that one.
It's amazing.
Fair. That is what I hear. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of horror movies set in, stage theaters.
Yeah.
Usually you get, the horror movie, a movie theater is, where the meta stuff happens.
Yeah, you get, Popcorn, or The Blob, or The Blob remake, or...
Demani.
Yeah.
And Popcorn's good, though. Popcorn's good for that.
Super fun.
I did that triple feature of the horror movie in movie theaters, which was, The Blob, Demani. I don't think I had seen Popcorn at the time, so I think I had another one in there.
One of my all-time favorite taglines, buy a bag, go home in a box.
Yep. Yeah, that one... Popcorn has so many good ideas, but none of them really connected together to make, the franchise that they clearly wanted to make.
Yeah.
And also, didn't the guy actor playing the monster die within a couple of years?
Within a few years, it was Tom Villard. Mm-hmm. He was bit part in Grease 2. Oh, I'm gonna throw up during reproduction. Mm-hmm. He was one of the Stork brothers in One Crazy Summer, so that registered with me.
Nice.
Then he was on this show, We've Got It Made, with Terry Copley from Transylvania Twist.
No.
Okay. I know a lot about Tom Villard, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
But yeah, in the early 90s, passed away due to AIDS-related complications.
Yeah, it's a bummer. He was pretty good.
He was.
He could have been another Freddy Krueger sort of thing.
Yeah, and it was, that movie stands out as one of his less comedic well-known roles.
Yeah, it's good. But oh baby, I love me some Demani. The first Demons movie is just the best.
It's pretty nutty.
Remake. that Blob remake is really something.
Yeah, that was one of Frank Darabont's first projects.
And Chuck Russell.
Oh, yep.
That's such a good pairing of guys together. Like,
You get them on that?
Darabont on Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Right. They worked on both of those together.
Yeah.
Then Chuck Russell went the route of Eraser.
And The Mask. Hey, he did the mask first.
The mask
first. Eraser. I can't argue with anybody that complains about anything in Eraser. I will say Eraser does have a scene where Arnie plays chicken in a parachute against a 747 and wins. It is the only justification for this movie to exist.
Yeah. The
But
movie
what
actually
a-
negates its own existence about an act in.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's location is tracked to a basic pager, which
Yeah.
is a receiving device only. And I just was like, nothing else happened. Like, I'm usually pretty good about suspension of disbelief and all that.
No,
But they really wanted to sound smart about doing it, and it just got under my skin. I'm like, no, you have absolutely just ruined your own story.
Yep.
You could have asked
It was
maybe
really
10 people, and one of them would have said, yeah, no, that doesn't work. How about you just give them a cell phone or another device, or you say it was bugged? Like, literally, you could have done anything to fix this.
Arnie is in a parachute and is half drugged. He starts shooting the 747 with a handgun, and the 747 swerves out of his way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And terrible. But that was Chuck Russell, or Charles Russell, I think. He starts out as Chuck, but then in later films he's Charles, which is fair. Whereas Frank Darabont has... It's weird. If you want to look at a guy who's the epitome of quality versus quantity, he has not made that many things, screenwriting or directing wise, but all of them are at least good.
Yeah.
Like, even Buried Alive. I love that the old... made for the USA Television Network, Buried Alive. That is on DVD and possibly Blu-ray because it's Frank Darabont and it's great. That was a different. That was a triple feature. I did the Tales from the Crypt movies that weren't the Tales from the Crypt movies.
Okay, so like Frighteners?
The Frighteners, Buried Alive, and Death Becomes Her. Things that were clearly, like, if not specifically started out as an episode of Tales from the Crypt, had so many people that were working on Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
This would be a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yeah, I think Zemeckis was starting to get a sense of how that franchise could go when Warner Brothers started meddling with Bordello of Blood.
Yeah.
Because, Demon Knight was such a great launch for it.
Demon Knight was perfect.
Yeah.
It still is perfect. Bordello of Blood, I will not say it's good. I will say that I love it. Start to finish.
I have an early draft of the script before... I can't remember who some of the later writers were, but I have an early draft that was just the Zemeckis Gale pass. And it's so much fun. And then when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, you rewrote out all of the good gags. You took,
Really?
Like, there were so many just fun bits and over-the-top gore bits. And, it was full-on crazy. And the movie that came out, I felt like was just so watered down.
I could see that.
Yeah. But,
That's interesting. I want to see that script now.
Yeah.
It's still fun, though.
Yeah. But it's no Frighteners or Death Becomes Her.
No, it is not. No, it is not either of those.
Yeah.
But...
And they were, I know, Frighteners was very specifically commissioned as a
Tales from the Crypt thing, and Buried Alive. Frank Darabont was a regular writer on the Tales from the Crypt show, adapting the stuff, and I think he directed at least one
Probably,
episode.
yeah. They were really good on that show about letting people try directing for an episode. Because it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, no, it's a half hour on HBO. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you let Tom Hanks direct for the first time.
Yeah.
You let
Not a bad
Michael J.
episode
Fox directed one.
Also not a bad episode.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, when it hits its nadir, it's pretty low. But there's so many. There's like the first 3 seasons are just solid.
Oh God, yeah.
And then like 4, you start getting into some problems. 5, we're very much in the tank, and they went 7, didn't they?
I think they went 7.
But then like
not counting the UK season.
No, I think it's 7, including the UK season. And then like because I like that in like season 6 was so bad, it's like we got to do something, and so they just shipped it to England, and then
there's
it's
a lot of voices over there.
There's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, and I really feel like that whole production team, Zemeckis, Walter Hill,
Joel Silver, Richard Donner.
Yeah, they were using it as a recruitment tool to find new writers, new directors, new people. Like as they moved more into the producing, part of their career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of this, gentle listeners, as you're well aware, has nothing to do with Amityville Playhouse, the movie we're actually going to watch, which we should just watch it now, because we have nothing to talk about it.
I will say, not a horror movie, but Frank Darabont had the Majestic, it's movie theater, not a playhouse.
Movie theater.
Not a playhouse. All right, we will try and brainstorm other...
Yeah.
Bucket of Blood.
No, that's
more of a nightclub.
That's not a theater at all. It's a coffee shop that does beat poetry.
Yeah. Son of a...
Yeah, I think like The Sixth Sense has the school's theater. Yeah, and you see like some hanged people. Yeah, but it's weird that you wouldn't like. Considering it's such like a regular short story trope, like a haunted theater, you would think there would be more movies about it.
Yeah. Scream 2. Scream 2 has a big theater department subplot.
It is really terrible.
Oh, I disagree.
Yeah, well, we disagree about all of the Scream sequels.
That is true. Because you love 3.
I really don't. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them. Scream the 1. That's it. And everything else is just crap. Yeah, I said it. Shut up.
Well, let's see how this one turns out. Well, we're back.
That was... Normally I would say that was something, but that was a lot of nothing.
Yep. There was...
Gentle listeners, we nearly fell asleep.
Yeah, separately.
This movie.
There were times where I would make a joke or a comment, and Tom would, I'm sorry, I completely checked out on this scene. Yeah. And vice versa. I definitely...
Luckily, we were spooning, so we kept waking each other up.
Yeah, it's the best way to be able to see the TV at once.
I mean, it's just the way it's set up.
Yeah.
So, Amityville Playhouse. Just first impression, I have never seen a movie make less use of an interesting space. Mm-hmm. You're setting it in a borderline, not abandoned, a disused local movie or theater, stage theater.
And it's, at times, it was an opera house.
Yeah.
But the marquee shows that most recently it was a porn theater.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like maybe like a local venue for musical acts and stuff.
Yeah,
but
there were live show.
Skull Crusher.
Yeah, Skull Crusher is a musical act. There was a poster up, rocking since 1989.
Yeah.
Then there was a play called Love Meets Murder.
Love Meets Murder.
That is a title.
Yeah.
If you want to use it, I'm sure it can't be copywritten because it's so completely bland and generic.
Yeah. But through most of the movie, they're just running around in these dark rooms, but none of the characters have any sort of a theater background, or it's just it's a backdrop that is pointless. And I actually, like, throughout the whole movie, you get the feeling that this was a movie that should have taken place at a campsite or some sort of like wilderness trip, but we put this in a theater and we did nothing with it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Amityville Playhouse is the story of Fawn Merriman, and her parents recently died in a horrible fire and left her this theater in a different town. She lives in the town of Dannemora, where she goes to Dannemora High School with her geography teacher, Mr. Victor Stewart, played by our co-writer and director, John R. Walker, who is English, which is fun because the movie is in Canada with varying wild different Canadian accents, but also some English put in there. So she's inherited this theater, and her sort of boyfriend has convinced her to take the weekend to drive over to Amityville, which is they make it sound like it's supposedly like the next town over.
Except that it's also so far that they don't know anything about it.
Yeah, this is like a weekend trip. We have to drive there.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like they don't know much about the town, or even, like, she doesn't know that this theater was in the family.
Nope.
Or that the family had come from Amityville.
Nope.
This was left to you, and a lawyer, who I'm guessing was probably the family attorney or something.
Yes. Well, she's in on it. You see her in the crowd scenes at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
But she does say multiple times in the scene where she's saying, you have this theater.
Yeah.
I can sell it right now. I could sell it on the spot right now. You don't have to go there. You don't have to check it out. Sight unseen. Yeah. You can just say, here, I sign this piece of paperwork, and you give me the money when it's sold, and therefore nothing. Like, basically giving her every out.
Yes. Which is weird, considering it seems to be the town's plan to get all the people there for a sacrifice. But we'll get into those inconsistencies later. So, Fawn and her boyfriend Kyle go to the theater, and they meet up with Kyle's brother of indeterminate age difference. Not sure.
Yeah.
They make enough jokes that you don't know if it's younger or older brother.
Right.
Her Fawn's friend Indy, and then this other guy named Matt, who we don't know how he relates to anybody. I would describe these people as friends, except none of them are friends. They are all to a person yelling at each other and complaining about everything from minute one.
Everyone is basically a petulant teenager in their dialogue, just sarcastic, mocking.
What do you mean, this?
Oh, yeah, except, Kyle.
Oh, my God.
Kyle serves the function of echoing the screenplay. Somebody asks a question. What was that noise? What noise?
What do you mean, noise?
What do you mean, what? I think that was literally a line.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that? What do you mean, what? Well, if I knew what it was, I wouldn't have to say, what do you mean, what? Oh, my God.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
He literally either asks, what do you mean, blank, about something that just happened, or he openly just repeats the thing they said, but only maybe 3 times in the movie does he say anything that's his own thought. And usually it's, yes, that would be the logical thing to do in this situation. Let's leave. Or
if it were intentional, maybe we could say he's some sort of reference to, like, the Greek chorus, since it takes place in a theater.
Yeah.
But there's no way. There's just
no way.
Not.
Because the Greek chorus usually informs the audience, and this guy literally is saying, oh, no, an additional character is confused about the situation. Thank you for spending time with us.
Yes. So in comparison to the last few movies, the quality of the filming is kind of nicer. Like, you can actually see the things better. And most importantly, in comparison to the movie that Patrick made us watch last week, this was intended to be an Amityville film, and so it's kind of nice seeing Amityville signage everywhere.
Right. But it is an Amityville movie in that there is Amityville signage everywhere. Oh, okay, you know what? I was going to say that's about it. But no, they do have the fly buzzing.
Yep,
they say the phrase, get out.
Yep.
And
they make references to, like, the caves and, the ritualistic sacrifices.
Mm-hmm. The treatment of Native Americans on the land before the town was built. So, yes, this one does own Amityville.
Yeah, and again, we got to apologize throughout most of this episode, we, honest to God, are not trying to sound this slapdash and all over the place, but one, there is no coherence to this film, and two, we are very, very tired from watching it. Mm-hmm. So they get there, they immediately get locked in, and Jesus, and then stuff, I was going to say stuff happens, but nothing happens.
Nothing happens for a long time, but we cut around all of the nothing happening.
Oh, God.
Like Kyle, who is described at the beginning as being the devious one, keeps playing his trickster demon games of asking what's going on.
Yeah. Jevin.
Yeah.
Is just loud and obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. No, please.
They continually drop pop culture references.
Ooh.
And this came out in 2015. I know that getting up to some parts of Canada can be difficult, and I know not everything is run with Cox or Charter cable, or depending which province which province you're in. But the references they make are... Okay, Morticia Addams. That's an evergreen reference.
Sure. However, there's an extended reference to Beavis and Butthead.
Uh-huh.
As if this is current and or what the kids would be talking about.
Yeah. And
in 2015.
Like, heavily in one scene, but then it continues to come up through the whole thing. Somebody legitimately thought, this is clever. I'm going to keep naming the same 20-year-old MTV cartoon.
Yes. And that person was John R. Walker playing Victor Stewart, who, at the beginning of the film, when Fawn describes this inheriting this theater in Amityville, which he doesn't know anything about, he's like, oh, well, maybe I'll go research it. That'll be my weekend. Because apparently Mr. Stewart has the saddest life and has nothing better to do with his weekend than drop everything and research something that one of his students is, dealing with. And so all the movie keeps getting intercut with shots of him driving around and doing research. Mm-hmm. And it's not full Manos Hands of Fate level driving, but it's like, hey, we're just driving.
Yeah.
No information is being presented. Nobody's talking. He's not even, like, describing the stuff that he's been researching. He's just driving.
Yeah, we get basically... I think when he got into town, he figured he'd start shooting some of the movie since he's playing the teacher.
Yeah.
And so he just got a friend to set up the camera here and there and just knocked out a ton of these scenes. I feel like we should just cover most of his journey before the tail end.
Sure.
Just to knock it out, because most of it is, in fact, driving. The Mystery Science Theater guys and Riff Tracks and whatnot have said many a time the absolute sign of a quality film is how much time they spend driving without any dialogue.
No dialogue.
In the car, show the guy in the rear view.
Getting out of the car, parking, getting out of the car, getting back into the car.
A lot of driving. And he has this open weekend. His name is Mr. Stewart. He is a confirmed bachelor, much like Mr. Stewart from Grease 2, played by Tab Hunter.
Sure.
They're guys that have a weekend to kill. And
he's a geography teacher as well, so it's not like he's a local historian. He is English. We get an extended flashback scene to his last day in England before he moved to America, where we have an extended debate between the role of science versus religion in modern society.
Yeah.
That is never even remotely touched upon again.
No, it's just a long discussion between he and a bartender about two other friends of theirs that are at the bar down, sitting over having some lunch.
The vicar and the paleontologist.
Yep.
Which,
how can they get along?
That would be a great title for a movie and or a stage play that I would like to see. The vicar and the paleontologist.
Yeah. They discuss how could they be friends? How can they line up the fact that 5 days a week, they teach science, and then on the weekends they teach that the world was created in 7 days. And they have this conversation about how could they get along like this. And then he says, well, why don't I go and ask? And then we cut back to the other part of the movie, and when they go back, they're having completely other conversations. We never actually get that conversation.
No,
they just have a meeting to have a meeting.
And then
about planning the meeting.
Yep. And then when we cut back to that conversation, this other person shows up that apparently everybody hates. But I'm going to be completely honest. I completely checked out while they were talking, and I have no idea what they were talking about.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Find it in your notes.
It might be in here, but it really was just completely nothing. For a couple. They cut back to him a couple times.
Yeah.
I did find there is one conversation they had that relates back to Amityville. I was distracted at first while they were still on Fluff about how it looks like everyone in the group was allergic to the beer they were drinking.
Yes. They all have
very
hearts.
flush, very Hy-Vee, like it's unnerving.
Yes.
But they're having a conversation about how one person says the UK is the greatest country on earth. The others are saying, no, the United States wound up taking that mantle, but, they're not as old of a country. And we were the ones, in the UK who came over and brought smallpox and mistreated Native Americans. And you should have respect their history. And they have a rich legacy. And all of this talk of Native American culture is basically given to us, one, because it sort of ties to some of the themes of the other ones.
Yes, it does.
But also because it's right before he finally, at 3/4 of the way into the movie,
At least.
he gets into the library. Now, again, he is doing...
We have to explain this.
Yeah. His arc is that he is researching
God,
this.
he has the fullest arc of any of these characters.
And this...
God.
He has the fullest arc, and his arc is that he basically, for 3/4 of the movie, drives back and forth to places where he can't get information.
Yeah.
He goes to the library and it's locked.
Well, first he goes to the local bookstore.
Where we have an extended scene.
In Dannemora, like the town that they're from, there's an extended scene of him looking for a book about local history for Amityville, I just said, why don't you try the library? And I say this right before the bookstore owner says, why don't you try the library?
Yeah.
And so then we see him go back home, pack for the trip, and then drive to Amityville, which is apparently quite a ways away, go to the library, try to open the door when it is clearly marked as closed. And so, since he has time, he has to wait until the next day, he tries to check into a motel.
Oh my God.
And we had to rewind the scene to try to make sense of what happens in the scene when he's checking into the hotel.
Yeah. He goes up to the counter. There is an Asian man who
is Canadian, because unless they have an English accent, they're Canadian.
Well, his accent definitely...
He did have a Hollywood Asian accent.
Yeah. And sounded... Or at least, had affectations that English was not a first language.
Little Pigeon English.
And basically just keeps saying no vacancies, no vacancies, no vacancies.
Well, first doesn't he want to know why do you? Or first he tries to warn him off from
you don't want to stay here.
Amityville.
Yeah. Oh, Amityville, you don't want to stay here.
Yeah.
You need to stay away.
Then he says no vacancy, no vacancy. Then Mr. Stewart opens up his wallet. And a la Jane Jetson, the hotel manager just takes all of the money out of his wallet. And
just
then
reaches in, pulls a stack of 7 or 8 20s, just fans through them, smiles, and hands him the key.
Yeah, which is an actual key, not like a card, but an actual key.
But it's a several-minute scene of him just being told, no vacancies, don't stay here, you don't want to stay here, here's all of my cash, here's your room. A scene that accomplishes so much.
Yes, and then we get several scenes of him in the room reading through his books. Don't worry, folks at home. He never says anything in the room. Mm-hmm. He never says anything about the thing he's reading that could possibly progress the story, such as it is.
Yeah, but I can't imagine there was anything in those books he was reading because he hasn't gotten into the library yet.
Well, he got these 2 books from the bookstore.
Yeah.
And he's really fervently reading through them. Mm-hmm. And then he finally gets to the library where he gets nothing but attitude about, well, why do you want to know Amityville history? I'm sorry. The history section's over there.
Yeah, but he goes and looks around the library, then asks, and the guy behind the counter flat out like, why do you want to know our local history? Like, trying to be as ominous as this movie can pull off.
Yeah.
But why have the local history section if you're not going to offer it? You can just say, oh, we don't have that because we have tons of secrets.
Yes.
Or whatever. Like,
and mind you, this all encompasses maybe 10 minutes of actual screen time.
Yeah,
in
but
a
peppered
1
through the
hour
entire
and 43-minute movie. But interspersed with that are these 5 teenagers that are literally doing nothing. They're stuck in this theater. They kind of half-heartedly... First, they're half-heartedly looking around to see, like, well, what kind of shape this theater is in. Because that's the story that we told Fawn that we're here to do, even though the boyfriend really just wants to have sex with her. And she is whinily saying that she's not going to have sex with her.
well, she whinily says everything.
She whinily says everything.
Literally anything that she says, that is just her core inflection.
It is like the inverse of the people that get higher when they finish a statement, even though it's not a question. It's that.
Yeah, I've known some of those.
But it's
a lot
just
of them from other parts of
whining. It's
Canada.
like, I don't know. The sun looks really beautiful out, and the weather's really nice. That's how she
Thanks
talks.
for driving.
I'm so lucky to have you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
All throughout the movie, eventually they realize that they're locked in, and then they sort of try to get out, but they sort of don't. They take a break
talk
for
about
lunch.
talking about getting out.
Yeah.
We should try and get out. Well, let's fix something to eat first.
Sure.
Okay, good call. We
Yeah.
are hungry. We will think better. Okay, now let's figure out a way out. Well, let's actually play this Ouija board I brought because I brought it since we were here for the weekend. So instead of trying to escape this place where we're trapped, let's just do the stuff we already were planning on doing this weekend.
Yes. And in between all of this, another teenager has mysteriously appeared in the theater, claiming to be a squatter, who is, of course, going to turn out to be a ghost.
Yeah. It's... Yes, that is a reveal. Yes, that is a spoiler.
Really?
Except that when it happens pretty much just, we're done with this character, so she says a thing, and then somebody turns around and she's gone.
Yeah.
You never hear from her again. You never hear anything about her again.
She might not actually be a ghost.
She might have just dipped out quick because she completely vanishes, not just from that character's perspective, but from the movie entirely.
Yeah.
Literally no mention of her whatsoever again.
No explanation of who she actually was. My
Yeah.
theory is that she is Fawn's, the ghost of Fawn's older twin sister, which...
But no, that's the other twist.
No, what's the other twist?
Well, let's come back to that because we have to build a few
That's
things.
who Andrea was.
Adrian, yeah.
Adrian.
So we
the
find
ghost-
out Fawn.
Wait, so, okay,
Fawn
go
didn't think that she had any brothers or sisters. They have a conversation just to make sure. Do you have any brothers and sisters? And those in the room talk about it, just to give an excuse that she
Yeah.
says, "Nope, nope, nope, only child."
And
then
then-
the teacher.
And then after Mr. Stewart finishes his research and finds out that there have been 6 people murdered every single year on the 13th of November.
Every
he goes,
single year.
every single year, he goes to the police who off screen, the police laugh him out of the station. So he goes to the mayor.
Who is the actor in this movie.
Yeah.
The person who delivers lines convincingly.
Yes.
As if he knows the lines before the scene and has connected them to something to deliver them like dialogue.
Regardless of whether or not they are nonsensical, which most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
He explains that they have a deal. When Amityville was founded, there were sacrifices and or demons, and now we have to appease these 6 demons every year, a la Cabin in the Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've locked everybody in the theater, and they're all going to be sacrificed for the demons. But Fawn's parents were in on this the entire time.
Yeah, they owned the theater when Fawn and her twin sister were born.
Yeah.
The decision was made to split off the firstborn because everybody in the town has sacrificed their firstborn to these demons over the years. And so, yeah, Fawn's older sister was born
20 minutes.
20 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Now, the mayor does not initially volunteer all this information. The teacher basically explains everything that he has found in his research, which is the very base level. There's something spooky going on, and there are these deaths.
Yeah.
And the mayor, no. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
And then the teacher turns around and gets a rifle butt to the face or something.
Yep.
He gets knocked out. He wakes up.
in handcuffs.
He's handcuffed to a chair. The mayor is there with his security guy, and he says, "Hey, sorry about knocking you out. Here's an aspirin. So here's what's going on." Explains all of the demon stuff, explains the town sacrifices, explains just all of it.
Yeah.
Spoon
Full
feeds
Basil
it to
exposition.
us. Yeah. And then pulls his gun out and shoots his security guy, and then lets the teacher loose and says, "Now you've got to go help them." Which means we just wasted however much time it took for the teacher to explain it where you were bluffing,
Yeah.
how long the teacher was out cold, your full explanation, for him to then say, "But now you must rush and hurry to them."
We can't do this anymore. This can't go on. And I don't have time to explain why I've completely changed my mind.
Yeah.
After convincingly giving like a full 5-minute evil monologue speech.
Yeah. Now he decides there's a sense of urgency. He lets the teacher go, and then we hear from off screen that the mayor blows his brains out.
Oh, did we? I forgot.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't hear that.
And now the teacher's
There are
running
no
through
loose
the town.
plot threads now.
Nope. Teacher is running through town, but all of the townspeople are just kind of standing in the middle of the town, like just scattered through.
It could have been like a spooky moment where it's
Yeah.
just like it's like a Wicker Man sort of thing, where it's like, nope,
Wicker Man
the
meets
whole
like
town
some
is
of
in
the
on it.
what's it, Hobbs End from In the Mouth
Sure.
of Madness.
Sure.
There was a lot of that town type
Yeah.
feel. But yeah, they're just standing there staring, and they let him get to the theater.
With the key to the city.
Oh, fuck, right. Yes, oh my god. I completely forgot. I have a note here. I have it in giant letters on this thing. The mayor gives the teacher the key to the city. It is imbued with magical properties. It is a novelty, oversized key,
That opens every door.
and it is used once
It is used once.
to get into the theater. But he literally has a key to the city that functions as a magical key to the city, and that's just... You just go with it at that point.
Yeah. He gets into the theater, and at this point, some of the teenagers have been killed and are appearing as apparitions. You can tell they're apparitions because they have really chalk gray makeup on their face.
They look kind of ashy.
They look ashy. They did not moisturize that morning.
Yeah. That's their...
And then it turns out that they're actually full on the demons, and then they get better face makeup.
Yeah, it's some extra, like, crunchy raspberry jam.
Yep. They let it dry on their faces.
Right, they let it like really clump well.
Yeah.
They had blue contacts in, so they're putting forth a lot more effort on the makeup at this point.
Yeah.
We have let our bar just drift so low.
We're almost there. We're almost there, folks. Promise.
Yeah.
Oh, this is bad.
So they so the demons...
We need 6. We need 6 bodies to die so the 6 demons can possess the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, they will let the town live and or by association the world. Like the mayor does imply that it's like, we're doing this to keep the world going, which is how you get the Cabin in the Woods
Yeah.
vibe. But we've got we got 3 people dead. And 2 people left.
Yeah, we've got Fawn and the teacher left, but Wendy, the goth ghost, had let one of the guys out.
Yeah. But the teacher immediately replaced him.
Yeah,
and then
the teacher had joined, so Matt went out. So you think, oh, now they don't have enough. But, at the very beginning of the movie, before the credits, a surveyor had gone in to survey the building, as surveyors do as part of surveying as a job.
Yep.
Don't look it up, it's totally true. And
he died off screen as well.
Yeah, he dropped his flashlight, boop, gone.
So we have five. We have all six that we would need. But luckily, the demons just up and let Fawn and the teacher go.
Yeah, they just completely vanish. So yeah, the teacher had been like basically running around the theater trying to find everybody to get everybody together to go. And as they split up to look for each other, they're getting picked off, sort of ish. They're just
It doesn't matter.
arbitrarily. And then he goes into the one makeup dressing room where carnival music starts playing, and the mirror just lights up for a bit of
For reasons.
fun.
It's like, hey, we should have a scare in this purportedly scary movie.
We know it's fun. Bright, rainbow lights and carnival music.
Sure.
That's terrifying.
To British people.
I guess so. But yeah, then he finds Fawn in a chair on the stage with very raccooned mascara.
Yep, she's Tammy Fayeing it all over the place.
The demons give the monologue of whatever their goals and wants are, aspirations, favorite hobbies, all that kind of thing.
Yep, measurements.
Yeah. And then, boop, they're gone.
Then they're gone.
And so the teacher and Fawn go to the front door, open it. The town people are just staring.
Yeah.
And the teacher tries to pull Fawn forward, says, Fawn, come with me.
I think we can make it if we run.
Yeah.
We can get past them. And then Fawn pulls back her hair to show like some sort of lesion.
Or
on her
birthmark
neck.
that was mentioned.
Yeah, the birthmark.
And says, I'm Adrian. Fawn is and or was
Possessed?
the twin sister that she had. And we don't know if Fawn has been dead the whole time or Adrian had
Possessed her?
possessed her, or if that was Fawn. Oh, at one point they see a body fall from a balcony and see
maybe that
Fawn's
was
body.
Fawn. Okay,
So maybe
okay.
Fawn died at the beginning of the movie, and it's
then
been the ghost twin the whole
Yeah,
time.
it could be.
Or
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. I hate to say that. but
Yeah.
that does.
that
make
might be that.
That makes that make more sense. So Fawn dies like 30 minutes into the movie, and it's Adrian.
So yeah, we're the whole
She's
most
possessed
of
the
the
entire
movie.
time, but does not have the goofy makeup effects. Otherwise, that would have given away the entire movie.
Yeah.
And Wendy is still this kind of free agent, no idea what's going on.
Yeah, we don't know where Wendy came from. We don't know why she was there. We don't know what her goals were. We don't know what happened to her. She just was a ghost, and then she was gone.
Yeah. And then the movie ends.
And then the movie ends.
Like, it literally just cuts to black
Yeah.
and then the title screen after she pulls back her hair and shows that she was Adrian.
I'm Adrian. Boop, we're done.
The Amityville Playhouse.
Yeah. No.
Hard rock. Credit music.
This sucked.
This was not good. This had a lot of the bad habits. We talked about the driving problems.
The driving problems.
If you have in a script that you're writing, and this goes for everybody out there, if you're writing, prose or, stage plays, movies, whatever, and you include any variation of somebody explaining the rules of a situation, somebody says, oh, that's just like in the movies. No, this is real life.
Oh.
Go fuck yourself. Take it out of your script, but go fuck yourself. It is a movie. You're writing a movie. You're not writing real life because nobody will
talks
say the thing that you just wanted them to say. So no, take it out. Also, nothing bad is going to happen if I do the thing you're all advising me not to do. Just take it out. Take it out. Take it out. Doesn't need to be there. Everybody knows you're making bad decisions. Entertain us with them. God, what else? There was
Just
have
so much
motivation.
time. There's no motivation. Like, there's no real explanation for why they're going there in the first place. Like, because they keep, like, this, all of the things that they do, the interactions they have, the exploring, the being stuck, this would all have worked in a camp situation and like an outdoor. We go on some sort of nature vacation thing. Yes, it's a movie theater, or it's a theater that, like, how is this like, oh, we'll just camp out in the theater? No, this is, we drive there, we take a look, and then we go back and leave, because none of you are building inspectors, none of you are realtors, you can't assess anything. You're just literally sell it. This is the stupidest thing. There
is zero reason for you to go there, especially on your own, without any experts, as teenagers, with a guy that you don't want to be with, that your friends say you shouldn't be with.
Yeah.
You've got...
This is a sex trip. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to have sex, don't go on the trip.
Yeah, and this guy is completely unlikable.
Yes.
He literally...
Kyle, as opposed to his brother, Jevin.
Yeah, like, Jevin is the air quote charming one, in that he doesn't have nearly as monotone a delivery.
And he's not yelling as much.
Yeah. Like, Kyle somehow manages to yell completely flat and monotone.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are we always like this? What is that?
No
what do you mean by that? Like, just so completely flat.
As opposed to Indy, who's always screaming as well, and is just very annoying.
Yeah.
But she has urgency. She appears to be terrified. Mm-hmm. And she is correct. They should be terrified. They are locked in this weird theater for no reason.
Yeah. And then Fawn, most of her delivery is, again, like...
Whining,
and annoyed. But if you were to take, like, the wry delivery of Zoe Deschanel, but then run it through the Skexels, through the Dark Crystal, and drain any essence or emotion out of it, so you just get
none. Yeah.
That's pretty much what you get out of her.
If none of your actors sound like they want to be there, your audience is not going to feel like they want to be there either.
Yeah.
And also, have a point. Just, like, it's... I go back to, like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's like, here's an idea. When you're telling a story, have a point. Mm-hmm. It makes it so much more enjoyable for the listener.
Yeah. Why are we here for these 2 hours?
Know.
Okay, it's a lot of fun and games.
43 minutes long. Oh my god.
You don't care about anyone or anything, less yet understand half of what's going on for any reason, if there is a reason for so much of it. Like, I love cheesy movies. I love low-budget movies. I have definitely been much more forgiving on a bunch of the ones we've watched already.
Yes. We go into these with the goal of finding the thing to love, finding the thing to enjoy. There was really nothing in the, like last week we enjoyed Mr. What's his name, the big white haired dude. Right, that guy was fun in a movie that was just balls to the wall stupid. There was one character that was just a joy to watch. Yes, there's nothing fun about this movie. The one thing I will give this movie, I will give it one. Yeah. The Key to the City. That was hysterical. That was, like, it's presented with no joke, no winking to the camera. It is just this key that is almost, like, it looks almost like a Legend of Zelda key. Right. That's how, like, not meant to actually work in anything. Mm-hmm. And it's presented to the teacher. Nobody in the scene seems to have any issues with it. No. The teacher doesn't look at it and say, you can't, like, no, like, this is gonna work? What? This is a thing? It's like, trust me, this is Excalibur. Yeah, he's just, here, this is the key to the city. It has magical properties. Go, save the girl. Sure. Now, this is also a teacher who, we know he's a geography teacher, which is mentioned so much, I think they're trying to say that means you're not a good teacher? Yeah. I don't know, like, they say it in so many... In high school, this is an important subject. Right, but the way they keep bringing it up is so specifically like, well, he's a geography teacher, so he's not really going to be able to figure out this thing, or they're talking down about it somehow. Oh, yes. And I understand he's not a very good geography teacher if, when he got into the library, he couldn't find the history section. Yeah. Which is clearly labeled by multiple large signs over top of all the books. Like,
I don't trust any of the research he's doing in the first place. I'm amazed he got to the point where he had something to take to the mayor.
And then he starts marking up the library books.
Yeah, which means he probably is not familiar with libraries in general.
No.
He's probably a bad teacher.
He's probably a bad teacher.
He is.
That's why they kicked him out of England, and he could only get a job
it's like,
in upstate New York.
Yeah, you have to go work in the American school systems.
That's right.
We have some great teachers out there, and thank you for your hard work. We also have some terrible reputations around the world.
Yeah, this guy's bad.
Yeah.
But he is a bad teacher. We'll see of him.
Which is, to move on to this one.
This is so John R. Walker, who plays Victor Stewart, the teacher, this is one of 3 movies he's directed, or actually 2 movies and a couple episodes of a TV show or web show called Tales From the Grave. His other movie is called Ouija Geist. But we'll see him again in...
Ouija Geist.
Ouija Geist. You get it? You get it? We'll see him in a couple weeks because he is in Amityville Playhouse, playing a character called Peter Summers. And what's fun for us is that if you look on his IMDb page, this is apparently turned into his Walter Paisley role, where he will be playing a character. Now, mind you, we haven't seen any of these, so we don't know if it's like an archival footage thing.
Right. And is he playing the character the same way, so it is a recurring character? Or is it the Walter Paisley, where Dick Miller is just named that?
Yeah, they just named that.
Okay, we've got Dick Miller in here. That's what we're calling him.
Exactly. So he will be John R. Walker will be playing Peter Summers in Amityville Playhouse, Ouija Geist, Tales from the Grave, Meat Hook Massacre 4,
which I'd have to see the first 3 just to understand what's going on.
Sure. Fright Vision, Arachnado, Zombie 8: Urban Decay.
I'm going to move past the Zombie 8, but Arachnado?
Arachnado. It's like a tornado, but with spiders.
I'm going to be looking that one up for extracurricular viewing.
Well, you also want to look up Ebola Rex versus Murder Hornets.
You are correct. I will be looking that up.
And then a few episodes later, he'll pop up on our podcast again in 2021, this year, Amityville Hex.
Okay, that is coming up because I don't have that one yet, but I've been... Jesus.
And then he plays Peter Summers again.
That will be the 4th or 5th one that's come out since we started recording these.
Yes. Oh, actually, I think these are listed out of order because there's also in 2021 there's Ebola Rex, and then there's a movie called Ebola Rex, a separate movie called Angry Asian Murder Hornets, and then also Ebola Rex versus Murder Hornets. So I assume they come out in probably the reverse order than here on the IMDb.
Right, and Ebola Rex is now available to rent on several formats.
Thank God.
Terror is Contagious. This is an interesting box art. Yeah.
So,
Sean Phillips. Oh, all right.
So in at least 2 more episodes of this podcast, we will see John R. Walker playing his Hamlet, his Frankenstein, or his Dracula role, Peter Summers in Amityville Playhouse and Amityville Hex. But mercifully, he is not behind the camera on either of those. So maybe it won't. Oh God. Amityville Hex has the one, the only, Lloyd Kaufman.
He was due to turn up in one of these.
He was due to turn up in at least one of these.
Yeah.
Dear
and
God,
he is also typically very good about doing his cameos for free.
Oh, he is a delight.
Yeah.
I welcome him in anything. But yeah. Oh, Lordy.
So what you're saying is we might be in for it.
Yes. Actually, Amityville Hex. I bet you Airway of Paranormal Death. Nah, I'm not gonna read ahead. I'm not gonna read ahead.
No reading ahead. We already know that that was a 2021 one, and
2021.
We've got a ways to get there. There's again like 5, maybe 6 Amityville related movies that from this year, but next week we are going to launch into 2016.
Yeah,
which so far has the most Amityville movies released in a year. 6, I believe, were released in 2016.
6.
And so we're going to be diving into those starting next week.
This is Amityville Vanishing Point.
Gotcha. That was one of the tougher ones to track down, as was, honestly, this one today. Amityville Theater / Amityville Playhouse. It was released under both names.
So
it's a tough one to track down. Yeah. I don't believe it currently is on any streaming services, so you may need to try and find a DVD. I don't think it was ever put out on Blue, and I can't imagine why.
Or you could just not watch it.
That's probably going to be your best option. I think
the resale value for me was non-existent.
Resale value for me, kind of. I'm going to call it a full Lutz. I want a loss. I'm going to put a lawsuit out.
That Lutz.
Like, not only do I not want to, not only do I immediately just clear out the house, abandon it.
Yeah.
But I am going to take legal action.
Yeah, leave all your items and take legal action. Go full Lutz.
Like,
I thought you meant Lutz like on 30 Rock, because
gotcha.
I've been watching 30 Rock. But yeah, the Lutzes. Jesus. Because they were related to this thing when it started. Back when we started this thing. Oh boy. Also, but don't bother with this one, but at the Walmart, at the time of this recording, it's the mid-September, so Walmart has all their spooky movies out, and they have a DVD 3-pack for $10 of the first 3 Amityville films, and I would highly recommend those, and that is a deal for like a good little multi-movie value pack. That's a good deal.
Yeah, and again, primarily for the second one.
The second one is so good!
We, as the bar continues to drift lower and lower, as the sea levels plummet. Lake levels plummet, sea levels rise.
That's fair.
It's hard to keep track of.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's all rich tapestry.
As everything continues to get worse for us, those first 3. Actually, you know what? Those first 6.
Yeah, that was like an oasis.
Yeah,
but
as they were getting goofier, they were at least getting goofier.
They were getting goofier.
Yeah, they had their problems, but they stayed crazy.
Yeah.
And I think we've got some crazy ahead, but right now we are in a
Amityville Clown House.
Yeah.
They'll blow it, don't get me wrong, but their head's in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Because right now we're just stuck in unlikable people in one location, nothing happening.
The nothing happening is the thing that's killing.
Bring me the crazy.
Yeah, like have the unlikable characters, have the poor actors, but stuff happening.
Yeah,
this is the key. This is the key to these to a good one. These are the ones that get remembered. The ones that are like, oh man, I was just wasting time and I saw this and like, oh, it turned out to be great.
Yeah. Just like at the end of Ed Wood, this is the one they're going to remember you for. Yes. And maybe it's not for the best reasons.
No.
But they are going to remember it.
Yeah. Nobody's remembering Amityville Playhouse.
Yeah.
Playhouse. Not even Amityville Theater.
Well, that's the thing. I think on the end credits on the version we watched, it did say theater. I can't remember what it said at the beginning, though. Yeah. But the box that the box says Playhouse. Anyway, yeah, it's both. It was.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done with this. Amityville Vanishing Point next week. Thank you again for listening. And this is 2 that we took in a row for you guys. So you don't have to do it. Oof.
You're welcome.
See you next week.
Get out. If you want to interact with us online, you can check us out on Instagram or Twitter at Amityville Show, or you can send us an email at podcastamityville@gmail.com.